We joke that this is like Jesus and the Last Supper. So I wonder who is Jesus? Who is Judas? That's a more important question. All right, so we've got great friends up here, and let me just quickly introduce all of them to you. First up, we have Pastor Felipe from Brazil. He's the senior pastor of Connect Church, together with his wife, Pastor Mila. Incredible, one of the fastest growing church in Brazil. You heard lots about him, incredible man. We also have Pastor Julius from Kenya. Senior pastor of ICC Imara in Kenya, one of the most dynamic churches in Kenya. He came for our conference this year. This year, he's back with an incredible team as well. We have Pastor Febe and Bernhard. They're senior pastors of Fokus Church in Düsseldorf. And Pastor Febe and Bernhard, they are the ones that spearheaded the Gen's translation into German. So they are also the ones we work with to co-implement GenerationS implementation community together. And also on my right, we have Pastor Búgvi from the Faroe Islands. And his team over there. So, Pastor Búgvi is a pastor from Keldan Church in the Faroe Islands. But beyond that, he's one of the our ambassador representative in Scandinavia. So, if you are a church, a pastor for Scandinavia, he is the man that you need to look for, all right? Please connect with him. And more than that, he's also a great friend of ours. We did our Masters of Divinity together. We were classmates for a moment. So we're going to have some fun just talking about how you guys have implemented GenerationS in your church. And let's start by just talking about how was it like when you first came for your Gens conference. And Pastor Julius, we were talking yesterday, and you shared a little bit about your first Gens Pastors Conference experience.
Well, good morning, Singapore. Good morning, HOGC. When I came here for the first time last year, I was wowed by everything that I could see. But I was comforted to hear I don't need to have all this back in Kenya. And the reason why I was thinking that way is our church at that time, we were in a tent. And so I was looking around and I was wondering, how do you have all this in a tent? We thank God for small wins. And I started to think, how do we implement this in our environment? And I thought that the best thing that we would do is to start building bridges between the young and the adults. And particularly because of the culture, the African culture. So that is what we started to do.
That's awesome. And you shared a little bit about how when you came for the conference, more than just seeing all the equipment, the screens, the lights, you shared about how you caught something in your heart as well.
Yes. Let me say this. We started to think, how do we integrate ministry between the young and the old? How do they come together? And particularly when you look at all this and you start thinking money. Not that we are poor. Africans, we are very, very rich. Maybe not money-wise, but in our values. And that is a low-hanging fruit for us. So I started to wonder, if we were to go this way, and all the money would be needed, what would we do? And I said, that is not what we need. What we need to capitalize on is our values. And then grow from there. The respect that the young have for the old, and get the old to respect the young, and to see that they can work together. Isn't that great? Isn't that a good place to start? We are making baby steps.
That's
and
awesome.
We are going to be there.
So moving on to Pastor Febe and Pastor Bernhard, even when you first came to Gen's Pastors Conference, when you heard all these things, how did you feel?
Bad, no. So good. We came the first time in 2023, it's not long away. We came here and I think, what is this here? What has happened? I expect much because I read the book and I come and say, okay, I will see if it's right. All the things I can see, what is written in the book here. And I see all the things. I see you, I see all the people there stay here. And I was so impressed to be here. And I think you preach the first sermon. And after 30 minutes, I say to my husband, it's the best conference I visit. And it's true. And he said, he's so young and he preached so good. He is young, but not so young we expect. But I was so impressed, and God spoke to me, this can happen in Germany.
So we are talking about low-hanging fruits and small wins. What were some of the things that you started doing, or the first few things that you started doing when you went back after the conference? And maybe Pastor Felipe, you can start off sharing with us what you did.
Yes. So the first time I came here in 2019, the structure goes beyond saying, it's mind-blowing to everyone. But actually what really inspired me is to see that this is not just a house, it's a home. And there is a father's heart and mother's heart in this home, you know what I mean? So this can be replied and replicated all over the world. So when I came back to Brazil, the first 2 steps I made was to change the mindset of the adults and the current leadership, and to give the young people a voice, so they might know that they are part of this home. Because in Brazil, usually youth church is like a separate church, They just gather in a different building, different room. So I joined everybody together, saying, now we are just part of one home. So when this mindset shift in their adults and young people, then I was able to start.
Wow, that's awesome. How about Pastor Búgvi, since you're next to me? Share with me what do you do when you went back?
Yes, of course, it was very important for us. It's not about what we see here, but it's about the heart. And what we did when we came back is, we gathered some of our key leaders and we shared what we had experienced and really about the generosity and the genuine Christianity that we experience here. And it's because this is not like a culture here, but this is really a kingdom culture, what we experience, which can be transferred all over the world. So we went back and then gather our leaders. And one thing that we did immediately, hey, we need to take away every age barrier. If you are good enough, you are old enough. So we really needed to, again, it's a lot about mindset, as has already been mentioned. So we worked with mindset shifts. And also what was very important for us to emphasize, because when we are here, it can be easy, even we heard Pastor Rao just saying, don't compare. Unconsciously you can compare, but this took 20 plus years to get to this, and this is like the original version we have here. So don't compare, but we would take it in our own pace, so to speak. So step by step we took it, and what we have seen every time we have brought a team here, 2018, 2023, we have seen a leap in our church. So I'm very excited to go back home after this trip. No pressure, guys, but I'm very, very excited.
Awesome. And Pastor Julius, I know you did lots of things after last year coming for our conference, and you got the young people involved. Tell us more about that.
Well, 2 things happened against all odds. God gave us an opportunity. We were on the verge of changing our board. And the first thing that I saw was an opportunity to include against expectation to create a structure of leadership that involved the young people. And what I did is in the church board, I appointed 2 people under 30. One 27 and the other one only 23. Now that was, and if you come from, or you have a culture like African culture, you would say that is courageous. And they may not know everything, but they sit in there and, they are learning. And then the second thing that we realized is we've got to take advantage the fact that in our culture, church is part of our daily living. We may call it religion. And so we don't have a lot of problem in African parents allowing children to come to church. So the next thing that we needed to do is to see them serve. And so we started to integrate them into the church ministry. And to us, the closest avenue that we could use was the dip bench. And we started to trust whatever little equipment that we have. Losing one means a lot. But we started to trust them with what we have. And right now, I think we have a 1-minute video that is speaking about the young people themselves, speaking about the opportunity that has been availed to them and the way they are loving it. And they have become very responsible.
All right, let's roll the video.
Hi, my name is Azaria Kibali. I am 10 years old. I am born again.
Hi everyone, my name is Jude. I'm 11 years old.
Hi everyone, my name is Tajula Sharia. I'm 14 years old and I love serving in the media team and registration.
I serve in the Next Gen ministry. Why in 4 years? Why do I love to serve? I love to serve because I like to see the children know more about God's word, and I like to see them memorizing the memory verse.
I serve in the Rockers sound team at ICC Imara. I really love using the mixer and other sound equipment to make the Sunday service sound really, really nice.
I love serving the registration team and help welcome the next gen kids to church, while also registering them down on the computer. And I always give them a smile.
How incredible is that? Seeing these young people serving God all the way in Kenya. Incredible. Moving on to Germany. Tell us more, Pastor Febe, Bernhard, how was it like? The first steps, low-hanging fruits in implementing gens.
The first step was we have now the book in German after I was at the conference, and so we give the books in our church all our department leaders. They must read it in 2 months, and after 2 months, we are German. After 2 months, we sit with them and we ask them, if you understand this, what we mean, what we see. They don't understand, that's normal, the half. And we say, okay, and we teach them. But the first thing is we must change the mindset. It's not a changing of our vision we have heard in this morning. It's our heart must change. We must become a love for our young generation, the generation that lost the faith. And so we go the first steps. And one day we have an evening with all our young generation and with all the department leader. We bring them together and we talk to them what is possible, what we see in the young generation and what we see in the older generation, and what we see if they can können dienen, serve, they serve together. And so the first steps begin that the young generation come in teams, serve with the older generation, and the older generation knows, oh, they are helpers, they are on my side, and so that was the first steps. The youth grow up, the youth pray and invite their friends in churches, and so this was the first steps.
Bernhard.
Yeah, just to add it, to make it a little bit more concrete, the biggest challenge we've seen was we have to convince our department leaders that they should look for the coming leader generation, not only in the 20s group, in the group of the 20s. That's a normal thing. We are looking for the new generation of leaders in the group of 20 to 30. And then we tried to convince them we have to go 10 years earlier. So start with 10 or maybe 8. And then we have had the first successes. For example, a young guy with 8 years old started to make photos in the church. Then, wow, we saw that something is possible, but we never have had in mind. The problem, you have mentioned it, is in Germany that the ministry, the younger generation, is departed from the main ministry. And we have to build a church, a holistic church, where the younger generation and even the 10, 12, 14 years old are a part of the main program of the church. And this is the first thing what we try to change in the mindsets. And I think it's the most important to think holistic.
And last year we bring a bigger group, and this year we bring many from the Fokus church, not only from Germany, from our church, and so they can see, and I've heard in the morning that now they understand this. It's a heart and to see the younger generation and build together church.
Wow, that's incredible. So what I'm hearing is, you got to get your team to change their heart. Their hearts need to turn to the younger people. The mindsets need to change. That's incredible, and that's what you've done in your church.
Yes.
Let's give them a big hand. Moving on a little bit to Pastor Big V over here, and what's interesting is I know for the rest of them they're senior pastors, but you yourself, you're not a senior pastor, and how did you implement that, and how did you bring this message back to your church and share it with your senior pastor?
Yes, I respect my senior pastor very much, and he was here also in 2008, and it was very important for me to bring the leadership. So 4 out of 5 of us have been here either at the conference on seeing or seeing Heart of God Church, because it is a challenge to take the non-downloadables, because you can take the preaching, but you cannot take the atmosphere and what we see here. So I respected him, so I honor him very much, but I was sharing my heart with him, and I submitted to him, and he could he sensed my genuine heart in this. So I won him over, because I did not weaponize generations, but I really used it. Hey, this is a tool for revival in our church. This can really change the atmosphere in our churches for the next 10, 20, 30 years, because we really need it when we look at our churches. Actually, I want him so much because there was at one point in our journey, because this is a journey. So you will have obstacles, you'll have challenges, and that happens for us as well. And I came to one point because I was sharing generations, and it was like talking to, sorry guys, don't like deaf ears. My words, they just fell down to the floor. And I came to my pastor one day and said, "Hey, pastor, I'm so done with this. I will not bring any more people to Singapore because I feel so dumb talking about this all the time." And he said, "Hey, big man, don't give up. I know we will have a breakthrough." So he encouraged me when I was at my low, and that's the good thing when you have someone who is before you. He turned 60 last week, and he is one generation like kind of before me, but we have the heart for each other, and he has been very, very supportive in order to make this happen in our church. And what he says, Big man, you have the mandate to run and implement generations in our church. I mean, the younger generation are already there with you. My job is to get the older generation on board. It's easier for me to convince them than for you, who is a bit younger. So we have really, really worked well together. So it is definitely possible. if I might just shortly, like, it has culminated in that we have given more space for our young people in our church. And I think we have a picture here where we can see all the generations working together at our Easter conference, because that's where it all comes together, all the different departments at one place at the one time. And we have had like a word, we are inspired from here, but it's really a word from the Lord. It's that we are one church, but we are many generations serving the same God at the same time in the same house. So God has really also helped us, giving us some words, some timely words into the season that we have been, and this has really got roots in our church. So people are more and more understanding we are one church, many generations. And to finally, we had one girl. Her name is Jonhild. She's one of our youth. She's 14-year-old, and she was in the team planning our Easter conference, which is our major, like the biggest thing we do in our church. So we invited a 40-year-old, go, hey, you can have a voice, you can have a vote, you can have a veto in the preparation of this. So we give room and space. So it is possible.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you. And I hope he has encouraged some of you that you can tell that it works in different cultures, different countries, and also that you are not alone. That we are all, including Heart of God Church, we are all on this journey together to continue to build generations, to continue to build a strong church for Jesus Christ. So let's all do this together for the glory of Jesus Christ. Let's give our God a big hand.